There are games that you'll remember, and then there are games that you'll forget. You generally remember both the good and the bad. You never really remember those games that fail to offer anything new and just kind of sitting in between. Submerged, released in mid-2015 and made by Uppercut Games, is essentially the indie version of Enslaved: Journey to the West, in terms of location and gameplay that is. Except Enslaved is a game that I enjoyed and remembered. I just want to say for the record, I didn't dislike Submerged, I just felt it was nothing special and I became rather bored with it and uninterested towards the later part of the game. Now, third-person platformers and walking sims are some of my favourite genres when it comes to casual games, so when I came across Submerged in the Steam store and saw that it was a mishmash between the two, I thought it was a game that I had to play. The premise of the game is rather simple. You play a young girl who is trying to look after and heal her younger brother, who is sick in a post-apocalyptic and sunken world. The game takes place in a submerged city where only skyscrapers have managed to survive, now covered in lush foliage and trees. Each day you make your way out on your boat, climbing up buildings and conveniently finding supplies that are needed, and then you reset the day. I mentioned this before, but this is essentially Enslaved: Journey to the West, from driving around a boat to climbing up and down buildings. It's somewhat noteworthy though that both games had horrible platforming mechanics, Submerged more than Enslaved. Some might argue that being a walking simulator that you should not have a fail state, and that's a valuable debate. However, it's all about context. If the character was put into a dangerous situation like climbing up real high, I think it's worthwhile considering from a development point of view to add a risk and reward situation for the player. Being platforming successfully means progressing the story and finding loot. In Submerged, there is no failing, which is fine, it's trying to tell the story it wants to tell. But from playing other walking sims where characters are in danger, it contextually makes more sense and less insulting to play. And I hate saying that for a walking sim, as I love them, and I rarely ever do say this game needs more of a game. The game has you collect a series of loot day by day, and halfway, seeing the same building with the same surfaces making you climb up in a similar way, with very bland climbing puzzles, I found it quite boring to play. If the game isn't going to let me play it, it at least is going to let me explore. At least that's what you'd be thinking, right? Well, not really. After a short while, the game starts to look all the same, recycling the assets beyond belief. Exploration rewarded me with finding collectibles, which told the story of the city, and I did like that aspect of the game. The way the game tells the story is a very simplified way of putting it all out there. By simple cave-like paintings, Submerged puts two stories out on the table. One being the main narrative of how you and the boy are in the situation that you're currently in, and then the story of the city and how it came to be in its current state. The city itself is quite large, taking 5 minutes to traverse from west to east, and it's quite cool to see the ruins of the two bridges that I drive on every day to and from work. But aside from that, it was really lacking anything special. Remember all those open world games from the mid to late noughties, let's say Prototype and Infamous? The cities were so bland and drab because they didn't really offer any diversity in it. That's Submerged. Every building was a copy of another building, except they had a unique path to climb up. I'm going to quit bitching because I'm making this sound worse than what it is. It's actually a really relaxing game to play, and I can imagine this would be better to play in 2 sittings rather than 1 like I did. The game costs $20 and has 2.5 hours of content. Do I think this game is worth it at full price? No, sadly I don't. For the amount of polish, I'd probably would pay $8 to $10 for it. What Remains of Edith Finch is $20. Everybody Has Gone to the Rapture is $20. Inside is $20. Submerged should not be worth $20. Sorry guys, it's a nice game, but it's not that great. If you like what you've seen here and you want to see more, hit the like and sub button. This is Sean and Maurice from Hihu. Thanks for watching.